Hey everyone, I'm excited to introduce you to the Ridgway. It looks an awful lot like a carpenter square or a traditional tri-square, but this puppy's got some pretty cool tricks up its sleeve. Come a little closer, let me show you all the things it can do. This is probably one of my favorites out of the Swan Tool Group's new lineup of measuring tools. A couple of things to note before we get started is all of our measuring tools that have a blade, a scale, or a ruler, whichever you prefer to call it, have some really interesting built-in technology just into the ruler itself. Now, after we talk about the square, we'll get to that. So this looks like any tri-square or carpenter square. You might find this in your grandpa's toolbox. But this thing has some neat tricks. First and foremost, it is a double square. But one of my favorites is the angle adjustability built into the handle. So the second knob right here, loosen that up a little bit, and I can move the handle anywhere between 0 and 45 degrees and lock it back in place. Come a little closer and let me show you why that is really handy. On the back here, you're going to see a scale from 0 to 45. Now I can lock this thing in, let's say 15 degrees. I lock it in, and now I can use that angle to mark my layout. Now, on the back side, it is still 90 degrees. So I have my angle square and I have my 90-degree square still built into that. And while it's in that position, you can still use the double square feature. So if you need more meat out front, you can absolutely have that. Or if you need more meat out back, you can absolutely have that. This is a really handy feature, especially for marking something that needs a lot of consistent results like bird mouths or rafter tails, where you need that same angle over and over again. Now, it might be a little tricky to pick up on camera, but at the end here, there's a little saddle built right into the blade. And there, on one side, there's a little notch on the side of the ruler. Now, that is what we're calling true mark technology. On the opposite side of the ruler, it's traditional, just like a traditional blade or ruler would be. And on the opposite side of the pencil saddle, it's flat. So if you're more traditional and you use marking knives, we've got you covered. On this side, this is some really cool technology. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I want to mark a 2-inch line, I would move my double square to 2 inches and lock it in place. But if I'm using a traditional ruler, I want to come a little bit further, and that's going to remove the pencil parallax. So if you're not familiar with that term, that's the distance between the edge of the ruler and the pencil lead. They call that the parallax. So in this case, I don't have to do that. I can just put my double square right on 2 inches, and I can put my lead in the saddle, provided I'm using a 0.7 to 0.9 millimeter, which is very typical of mechanical pencils that carpenters use, and put it right in that groove, which also helps me hold it nice and securely. I get a mark that's exactly at 2 inches. Now, on the ruler's edge itself, let's say I mark a little tick mark at 10 inches, and I want to be very accurate. Typically, I would put my lead on that mark, bring my ruler up to it, and then I would draw my line. But we don't have to do that anymore. I can just bring my ruler right up to the tick mark, draw a line, and because of that offset, we remove the pencil parallax, so it is right on that tick mark, giving me a very accurate way of marking out my line. So with the Ridgway, you're really getting 3 squares in one. We have the angle square, which we can lock, and then we have our double square, and a traditional tri-square, all built into one system. And that system is expandable with our 4, 6, and 12-inch rulers.